Mornings with Jaresha is a radio show and podcast here to equip, empower, and elevate you to the next level by helping you win your mornings and win your day with inspiration and motivation so you can wake, slay, pray, and take action. Today is a fabulous day to be great, have great, and do great. You just have to be willing to unleash your greatness and take action. This show is for everyone from all walks of life who just simply want to feel empowered and motivated to take the next step. Now, let's get it. Let's go. Mornings with Jaresha begins now. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. Welcome back to the Mornings with Jaresha show. It's another great day. It's another great day. On this show, we wake, we pray, we slay, and we do what we need to do to execute on our goals, our dreams, and walking into our purpose. And it is another great day. It's another great day, y'all. I normally say that on my Empower Hour with Jaresha show. But when it's a great day, that means it's a great day, it's a great morning, it's a great afternoon, it's a great evening. And so if you're listening and tuning in, whether it's your morning, afternoon, and evening, I hope that you're having an amazing day. And I always say that not only do we have to have an amazing day, but we have to do it on purpose. And that requires us to be intentional with what we're doing. So if you've been tuning in to the last couple of episodes, you've heard me talk about some pretty good stuff. Some pretty good stuff. So if you haven't heard, make sure you go back and, listen. It's some pretty good stuff that I would actually suggest that when you listen, make sure you jot down a couple of notes. And I actually would encourage everyone to do that with every podcast, every YouTube, everything that you're listening to, that you're really there to really get knowledge, to get wisdom, to be able to, utilize those practical tips and advice. Take notes. I cannot stress that enough. Take notes because we expect to retain so much. We listen, whether you're listening while you're driving or you're listening after you've arrived at your destination. It's nothing for you to pull out that notebook, pull out that post-it, and write something down. Write something down. You have to not just listen to things because I'm not here to entertain. I am not here to entertain. And if you are listening to other pods and you're showing up because you simply just want to be entertained, then I would honestly tell you that you really need to evaluate. You need to evaluate your whole mindset with that. But make sure you're writing something down. I don't care if it's just one takeaway that you got that you can take action on. So, normally, what I do on this show is I start off each and every show with my morning breakfast breakdown. I keep calling it a morning breakfast breakdown, but with my breakfast breakdown, because let's be clear, you can have your breakfast breakdown. It can be an afternoon breakdown, whatever, however you want to do it, but it is my morning breakfast breakdown. And the way that the breakfast breakdown works is clearly all about, for me at least, it's all about looking at three different things: what I'm loving, what I'm learning, and what I am feeling empowered about. And I love this idea of just taking three things. And I love it so much that I encourage you every single show to do your own breakfast breakdown. So, without going into anything deeper, let's jump right in to what I am loving. Now, I am very much a morning person. I love mornings. It's just something about, waking up in the morning and knowing, first of all, that I'm so grateful for seeing another day, but also that I'm able to really set the tone for the rest of my day. And so I'm really loving these, what I'm calling mindful mornings, because it is, again, it's about intention. It's all about intention, but it's about taking a few moments
every morning before you start diving into your emails and start diving into all of this stuff, your work and what you have to jump into for the day. And just taking a few minutes to maybe take a deep couple of deep breaths, or to do your journaling, or just simply enjoying silence and meditating. And so that is it is absolutely a part of my morning routine. And I have since then established this whole it's a mindful morning. It is such a mindful morning because it makes a difference for me when I take the time to really be intentional about that thing with with praying and meditating. And those practices really help me start my day with clarity and focus. So think about what helps you find like your center in the morning. Because I'm telling you, like, I am absolutely loving these mindful mornings. I love it. I love it, y'all. What I'm learning is I am really like learning and like revisiting this idea because I've learned so much about what I'm getting ready to share with you, but I'm revisiting it. I'm like having to, have those moments where I'm evaluating and really seeing the power all over again. And that is the power of connections. Now, let me tell you, when we are connecting with people, and I probably need to do a whole entire show just on connections because we communicate, but we don't connect with people. And so this whole idea of the connecting with people and how I've been able to connect with people and really just I'm in awe. I'm in awe because when it comes down to, connecting, it's about how you're going to build those authentic relationships so that you can really, amplify your growth, and not just with you, with the other person too, and really growth and success. And so a lot of times we do this through networking with, going to networking events, and some of us don't even like to go to networking events, which, I hope that when I do talk about the power of connection, that will change your mind about networking events. But yeah, so this whole idea of the power of connecting, it is all through, or we utilize it through networking, and simply reaching out to friends. And the thing is, like I say, it's not about just communicating, because I feel like we all communicate, whether we're good communicators or bad communicators. It is about how are you really connecting with someone, because connection is the key. Connection is the key. Just because you talk to someone, and we know this, right? Just because you communicate with someone does not mean that you guys have a connection. A lot of times it is something that is not going to happen, like instantly, right? It may, but guess what? It requires work on your part. It requires work to connect. And I have this whole idea of, when we go to networking events, of what we should do and what, like, the do's and don'ts of networking, because I have witnessed some quite interesting, and I always say interesting, instead of saying, some bad things. It's been quite interesting behaviors when it comes down to networking and trying to connect with other people. I love going to networking events. I love the idea of meeting new people and wanting to make connections, because you have no idea who you may in fact meet, that could be that one person that they may be, or they know someone that they could connect you to, that just take your business to a whole nother level. So it's so important for us to really embrace the idea of really connecting and know that it has power. So I feel like I'm learning and I'm revisiting that whole idea of connecting with people. And I really feel like that happens every time that I go to networking events because I see some interesting things that take place. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting. I always make a mental note, and I started doing this a long time ago, like I'm not going to do that. But a mental note of this is something that people really need to know and be aware of so that they're not doing these things when they go to networking events. So what I'm feeling empowered about is, oh my goodness. Um, I'm really just embracing change. So, embracing change, I recently talked about how, embracing this new chapter. And with any new chapter that you really walk into, it's about really changing and how there's so many things changing in my life right now, in my business, in my businesses. And it's all good change, it's all new. And it's all on a whole nother level. And I have to tell you that at first it was very scary. It's very scary because when you have such a significant change. Okay, so we have these little changes that may come in our life, but when you have a change that is a huge change that's going to impact everything that you do, it it's hard sometimes to really embrace it. It really is. But I am feeling incredibly empowered by the changes that is happening in my life and in my businesses. And that always requires stepping outside of that comfort zone that we love to live in, right? We love to live in, talk about, and really want to think that we can grow in, and we can't. And so there's so many opportunities that has been opened as a result. It's to me, it's just a reminder, not only to myself, but it's a reminder to you that we have to be willing to embrace change because that's going to lead to amazing growth. Absolutely amazing growth. And I don't know about you, but let me tell you, I love being able to grow in all areas. When we think of growth, and the growth that we really want to happen is in our finances, right? We want our finances to grow. Well, guess what? In order for that to happen, you have to be willing to do some different things. And so, I understand that. I understand the power of growth and the decisions that we have to make, especially as me being a business owner. I have to really understand and embrace that the idea of change. And so that's what I'm feeling empowered about today. And so I hope that you will look at writing down, making note of your own breakfast breakdown, and how it's just an opportunity really to reflect each and every day for you. And just do that, reflect every single day. I was gonna say something else, and um I decided to wait on that, so we'll revisit that. How's about we revisit the idea of what I was gonna say on the next breakfast breakdown? That's what we'll do. So today, I really wanted to take just a little bit of time to talk about a couple of things that I do have kind of in the works, and share with you something that's pretty exciting to me. And I'm really hoping that as I'm embracing this new journey, that you will, be a part of this journey as well, and really not just be a part, but because to me, when I think being a part of something, I really want you to latch on to it, participate in it, and really, be able to grow, as I was just talking about. So today, I'm going to talk to you about the book that I have written. And it's not just a book, but it is a devotional. And I'm pretty excited about it, right? So I don't know if you're listening. I mean, if if you that are listening is an author, but I have been a part of several anthologies and that have made the bestseller. I mean, Amazon bestselling list. But one of the things that I want to really share with you is just how the whole process and the journey of writing my own devotional. So, and I'm going to be completely transparent with y'all. I'm going to be completely real. Um, and it helped me to really see myself in a different perspective. And I say that because when you're a part of an anthology and writing and you have a chapter, a section, it's really you have just a small part of a complete project, a complete book. However, when you are writing a whole entire book, there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot that goes into it, and it's an amazing process. But again, I have to go back to there's a lot that goes into it. And so you have so many people that I have learned too that will start this process and not finish it. They will start writing and writing, and then things will take place, and then they just kind of fall off. And I think that has happened to, it may have happened to you. It may have happened to, people that but, and that's why I say that it is a whole entire, like, it's really a journey. And so this has been an interesting thing for me because of, and I am the visionary author of my project, of course, and so I know how I want it to flow. I know how I want it to, the final product, and I know the outcome. I know how I want it to really reach people and not just be another book that's, in your library of books or on your shelf, but it really be an experience. So for me, that's what I am capturing. That is what really makes a difference for me is it was an experience with writing it. So I really need it to be an experience when you pick it up and start reading day to day, and how it's going to impact you and really make you feel over the course of 30 days. So, when I was writing this book, which is called Unlocking Your Maximum Potential, it was me coming from a place of me having to do the same thing and have done the same thing. How do you unlock your maximum potential? Not just as, me being a woman, me being a mother, but how can I unlock my maximum potential as being an entrepreneur, as really walking into being a business owner, and what that really meant and means for me. And often, and I say this so much, and I actually, you'll hear this a lot more coming forth. But if you are in a space where you're looking for something, and I know we all have been there, right? We've been there where we're searching for something, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Google, we're searching for something, a community, searching for something that we feel like we need, and yet it's not out there. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, oh, there's no other devotional books out there, because there's tons and tons of books that's out there, tons of devotional books out there. But what I am going to tell you is that you're not going to have the same experience like how you're going to have the experience with unlocking your maximum potential. And I'm excited. It's so exciting that I said, you know what, I'm going to talk about this today, because I really felt like um, it was important enough. And, I am very much the humble person where I don't put a lot of, like, I'm not spamming people with, oh, join this or be a part of this and you need to join this. And that's never been who I am. That's never been who I am. However, I will say that when I was thinking about what am I going to share with, with the amazing people today, I was like, you know what? This is the journey that you've been on. Why not kind of give them a glimpse of this author's journey and how the process has gone and what is, what they can expect and what's coming? Because if you're an author, like I said, if you're an author, then you know you know how many times you may have started writing, stopped writing, started, completely changed up things. And so for me, when I did this thing, I said, this has to be different because certainly I've done that too. I've started and stopped, processes and projects. And I'm like, no, I don't think I want to do this. I don't want to. And guess what? Then you have all these unfinished projects. How many unfinished projects do you have right now? So I think that's a very good question for you to write that down. How many unfinished projects do you have? And why are we, and I'm going to put myself in this too, why are we consistently starting all of these new projects and not finishing some of the projects that we need to finish? What is it about that project that you keep putting it off? What is it? What is the feelings? What is the emotions that's tied to it that's keeping you stagnant, that's keeping you in that same place? And so today, it was really more about talking about the process, not necessarily trying to, really tell you, guess what, go out and purchase my book, because I don't want you to go out and purchase the book just yet. I want you to have the experience. And so I'm going to share a couple of other pieces, but as I talk through this and really think about the process, I don't want it to be just another, like I said, I don't want it to be another book that you just pick up and it's like, oh, I support it, I got it, and then you just don't open it. So there is something big that's coming along with this, and I'm really excited about it. I'm super excited about it because I'm not one to just say, you know what, just run out there and purchase this, hop on and pre-order and do this and do that. But I want you to have an experience, right? I want you to have an experience. But let's go back to these unfinished projects because it's one of those things that it's important enough for you to look at your own processes. It's important enough for you to sit down and evaluate yourself where you're at from a mental standpoint with your mindset. When I say mental, I'm speaking on your mindset and why you're having all these unfinished projects. And so that's kind of where I was. I said, okay, you have this, you have your devotional that you're really slowly but surely getting through, and you're dragging your feet. And again, you have to be honest with yourself. Are you dragging your feet? Because most of us do. We drag our feet. We are dragging everything, okay, with us. And there is that one thing, that one emotion, that feeling that's really preventing us from moving forward. So for me, I had to really be really get clear and be honest with myself and understand that there was something that was attached to releasing this project. There was something that was attached to finishing this project that kept me kind of boxed in. And it wasn't anybody else boxing me in, it was me. I was boxing myself in. So I say all this to say to you again, what is it about your unfinished projects? Now, I don't know how many unfinished projects you have. Maybe you have two, maybe you have one, maybe you don't have any unfinished projects. But I almost want to just go out and say, I'm quite sure you probably have some unfinished projects because most of us do. Maybe you have 10 unfinished projects. What I'm going to tell you is look at every last one of your unfinished projects. Schedule some time on your calendar. to really evaluate all of your unfinished projects. And when you're evaluating them, ask yourself, what is preventing me from finishing this project? What is it? Is it fear? Is it someone else that, maybe there's another person that's attached to the work that has to be done to finish the project? What is it that's preventing you from finishing the project? And the way that I looked at it too was, okay, let me look at it from all angles of this thing. Because I always say we have five different areas in our lives, right? We have our finances, we have our faith, we have our health and wellness, we have our relationships, we have our personal and professional development. We have all these areas of our lives, right? And we have different projects that may fall within those buckets, and some of them may cross all of those buckets. And so for me, sitting down and looking at not just this book project, Unlocking Your Maximum Potential, but looking at other projects, I said, you know what? Let me start asking myself some of these tough questions to really identify with what is holding you back. Is it because you feel like you would need to be a perfectionist and it has to be perfect? Like, what's that misconception that's holding you back? Maybe it's because the fact that you feel like, oh, everything has to be perfect. So I can't release this until, and guess what? You're still sitting on it. It hasn't been released. And my question for you is, what are you waiting for? If you don't stop thinking it has to be perfect, give yourself permission to move forward. Give yourself permission to sit down and say, I have project A, B, C. These three projects, when did I launch? When did I start this project? When did I start this project? Now, when I tell you, when you evaluate, when you do the audit, the project audit, and look at it and say, oh my goodness, I started this project over a year ago, and look where it's at. It hasn't been completed. Now, some of us may have projects that we need to just say, you know what, it's time to just completely delete this project, because this project, it was something I wanted to start, it's something that I thought was great, but it's no longer in, I'm not in that place. So I needed to completely delete this and take this project off of the whole, the project block. It needs to be removed. But guess what? You don't know that until you sit down and go through that process. And so that was one of the things that I did. I'm all about processes. I'm all about systems. I'm all about evaluating. I'm all about looking back at things and really doing an audit on yourself, not just with our life, but with our projects. And I like to bring forth to you things that I'm doing, things that has helped me, and hope that it's going to help you too, that it's going to empower you. So initially, again, this is going to be probably a several parts episodes that I'm going to talk about this thing as I share more about, my book and the experience and all of these things too. And then I will open it up for you to be a part of this experience as well. But for today, that's not my intention. My intention is to come to you to share my journey of really taking this unfinished project of mine and finishing the project, walking through the steps, doing what I need to do. And I'm going to tell you again, it is a process that whew, we go through all kinds of emotions with this thing. And many of us, because we want to be authors, that's what we're going through. We're going through all the negative narratives, the self-doubt, the limiting beliefs. We go through much, so much, and it's unnecessary stuff. It's so unnecessary. It's so unnecessary. But I really hope that today, as you listen, that your wheels are turning and you're thinking, you know what, I have my own unfinished projects. I have a book that I started that I need to sit back down and look back at this, and plug it in on your calendar. And I'm gonna walk through how I finished my book with you. I'm gonna walk through that process so that and not that but not only that but you also have some tools and some resources that I utilize, that I really hope that it's going to empower you today. I feel like it will empower you today, because whether you are trying to write a book or it may be a whole completely different project. know that you're going to still be able to get a lot of takeaways based off of what I share with you. Oh, you will. You definitely will. And you're going to be excited about it because I was excited about it. So remember when I started this episode and I said, make sure you at least have one takeaway from the podcasts that you're listening to, from the YouTubes that you're listening to. Make sure you have at least one takeaway. Well, I'm sure today you had a few different takeaways. And so I'm just going to leave it at that today. I think I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to just jump into too much of the processes that you feel overwhelmed, because it's a very overwhelming feeling when you sit down to look at all of your projects, all of your unfinished projects, and you're like, my goodness. Even if you have a team that you're working with, because I do, it's still it's still a process. It's still gonna really drum up all these emotions within and make you feel some kind of way. And you may even go through, oh, I feel like a failure, I feel like this. Yeah, stop doing that to yourself. Stop doing that to yourself. Like, this stops today. Stop. You are not a failure. And guess what? This is an opportunity. That is why you're listening right now. And it's an opportunity for you to pull out your notebook, to pull out if you have project management tools that you have all your stuff in. If you don't, pull out that regular piece of paper and write down what projects you're working on, the unfinished ones, and begin to really tap into that thing. Begin to start asking yourself questions. I mentioned one of the questions I asked myself was, when did I start? When did I start this project? And why isn't it finished? What are the reasons why? Who who's a part of, the project? Is it just me? Is there other people? Who was a part of the project? It's asking those questions. And I always say we have to look at, why, when, where, how. Look at asking you all of those key questions when it comes to, and I do that with everything, y'all. I'm all about asking questions. If you know me, then you know that questions is a real thing. And that's how you get answers. That's how you understand. That's how you grow. That is how you reflect. The questions are a beautiful thing. So, listen, I hope that you're ready to really dive into this unlocking your maximum potential. I hope that you're ready to really understand this idea of these unfinished projects that we have that we really need to jump into. I hope that you feel motivated. I hope you really feel inspired and empowered to tackle your projects one step at a time. But if you don't, know that we're going to continue this conversation next episode. So make sure you come back for more. Make sure you come back for more. And not just that, but I hope that you're ready. I hope that you're ready to execute on your goals, your dreams, and walking into your purpose. Let's get it. Let's
Thank
go.
you for listening to the Mornings with Jaresha show. Follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube at Jaresha Moore. Email Jaresha at empoweronpurpose.com and text 937-938-6373. And have a great day on purpose.